Right, so we are back to some more top tips because, you know, I've got all the knowledge. So living in the UK / anywhere in Europe during winter, obviously the weather isn't that great. So we've put together a few of the kind of top tips for riding. I'm going to say like riding in winter, but it can be like riding in the cold, it can be riding in the wet. Just basically some thoughts on how to make it a little bit more enjoyable and I guess a bit safer as well is probably the other thing. So yeah, enjoy. So I think like the top tip, and this is like the number one for probably any kind of riding anyway, is just have the right kit. So I think actually if you have good kit in the winter, you can still be warm, you can be pretty dry, and it's way more fun rather than like being freezing. So some of the top bits of kit that I find super useful in the winter is some proper overshoes. So I use the Spats overshoes that generally keep you pretty dry. There's a variety of sizes. So for my little legs, there's like the little short cut-off ones that don't come up to my thighs, but there's also like long ones and there's gravel ones, there's all sorts. But yeah, they're very effective. I think I've also got some like winter shoes that are like just a little bit thicker, help keep your feet a little bit warmer for when it's really cold, so like below sort of 4 or 5 degrees Celsius. I've also got some heated inner soles that I can recharge. They're actually very nice. Just keep that little bit of extra warmth around the feet because otherwise I end up with completely dead feet. Good pair of gloves. I actually like wave a little bit between the kind of gloves that I like. Sometimes I prefer the thinner ones. So I've got a really nice pair of Gelanu winter gloves that I find actually as long as I'm moving, I'm quite warm. But actually on gloves, my top tip is probably take 2 pairs because then if you have a cafe stop, you've got a dry pair to put on afterwards. So they're not all like sweaty and wet. Obviously lots of layers, so I tend to put on like 3 base layers when it's really cold. So I'll do just like a normal sort of summer base layer, then a like long one, then like another short sleeve one, and then my cycling top. What else kit wise? So for when it's really cold, there's like a Spats balaclava, which I just find is lovely because it keeps all the heat like in around your head. You look a little bit like a bank robber, but keeps you warm. And having glasses that are like more clear lens. Well, not necessarily clear because sometimes you get a little bit of sun here, but ones that are not like so dark that you can't see anything because yeah, we get hailed on quite a lot here, so you can't really go no glasses because you just get hail in your eyes. But yeah, anything else kit-wise? No, something like basic kit, that's probably everything you need to keep like warm and dry. Oh, obviously like a good rain jacket, but I feel like that's kind of, you have to have that wherever you're riding in the UK, whatever time of year, so. Top tip number 2, have some friends. Like cycling with people, whatever the weather, obviously makes it better. Like very lucky here in that there's pretty much always at least one person who's mad enough to want to go out. But yeah, having someone to meet that you can chat to obviously makes the ride a bit more enjoyable. Tip number 3 is probably have a good idea of what routes you can go on when it is like that little bit colder and potentially icy. So we've got some really good main road routes around here that I know, even if it's super icy everywhere on the back roads, like those roads will be good, so you can still get out. Top tip number 4, make sure you're nice and visible. So again, like obviously when it's a bit gloomy and dark, you want to either be wearing bright clothes or have some lights on, or both, just because, you know, people get a bit distracted. So if you make it super obvious you're there, they have no excuses. Top tip number 5, kind of related to kit, but slightly off. Keep yourself well fueled. And the thing I found key for that in these cold rides is actually having like a little thermos flask, and I'll have like a nice warm squash, or even sometimes I treat myself to a cup of tea. But so actually, like the Spatz thermos glass is really good and keeps stuff warm for, I'd say, up to 2 hours. So it's pretty good.
Mulled wine?
I've not tried mulled wine. Mulled wine's quite a good shout. I'm not sure I'd want to be having any kind of wine whilst trying to do a session though. Probably not the best idea. Top tip number 6, have a friend at home who can run the bath ready for when you get back. I tend to leave my dressing gown down in the utility room, so I can be like all my wet kit off into a dry dressing gown, come and make a cup of tea, run the bath, warm up nicely with a cup of tea in the bath. But obviously I know some people don't have a bath, but for me, I find being able to get rid of my cold, wet kit kind of immediately getting into the house and having like a big dressing gown to put on is pretty nice. Top tip number 7, have a velvetizer so you can have a nice hot chocolate when you get in. Velvetizer not needed, but it makes it super easy and quick. You just put it all in and it makes you very nice.
You want a sponsorship?
Yeah. Hotel Chocolat, if you'd like to sponsor me, I will happily take your sponsorship. I think I buy enough of your chocolate and hot chocolate. Final one, top tip number 8, have someone who can clean your bike for you, because that is the most miserable bit of cold winter riding, having to try and clean your bike when you get back and you just want to get in and get warm. Or I guess alternatively, get warm first and then clean your bike after. So hopefully that helps keep you happy whilst riding in the not so nice weather. Right, what are my top tips going to be?